So welcome everyone. You are here today for our AI Masterclass, From Clause to Clarity, AI-powered contract mastery. My name is Libby Sestak. I am a solutions consultant here at Level Path, and I'm thrilled to be joined by one of my customers, Joel Jeffries, Manager of Sourcing Systems at Western Union. This is the latest session of our new monthly series where we reveal how AI is powering real-world procurement workflows. And each month, we're going to spotlight different use cases, real customer examples, and measurable outcomes that are going to help you to scale your impact in your organization. So let's dive on in here. Now, what is Level Path? Level Path was built on a single data model with an integration engine that we call our Hyperbridge. This is our AI native layer. It is going to seamlessly connect your entire procurement process through the help of generative AI assistance and a 360-degree supplier view. Now, our AI-powered foundation enables your end-to-end workflows from sourcing to supplier management, delivering not just efficiency, but also an enjoyable experience, not only for you, but also your stakeholders. And that is what we call delightful AI native procurement here at Level Path. Now, there's a lot of buzz out in the market today about AI native and what that even means. But what does AI native actually mean in practice? I like this analogy here because I feel like it helps to explain it. So AI native means that there is a fundamental difference in the way that your platform was built. So enterprises rely on multiple systems that all need to be together, all need to be able to talk to each other. And it's really important that you have that strong foundation within your platform. So I'm going to use an analogy here to describe the difference. Let's say that you purchase an older home. It has a lot of charm, it's super cute, but kind of like my house, there is no central heating or cooling. So you may get an AC unit, you tack it onto the window, you pop a thermostat on the wall. It works, but it's not connected and it breaks all the time. And if I update one piece, the other piece doesn't update. Versus when you buy a new home, that central heating and cooling is going to be within the foundation of your house. So it's all going to talk to each other. It's going to have all of those new features that matter most to you. And as updates come into the system, everything will talk to each other. So that's really the difference between bolting on artificial intelligence and having an AI native core at the core of your platform. Now, what are we going to talk about today? We're going to be talking about contract intelligence, and I am so excited to have Joel Jeffries with me here today because him and his team have really taken this to the next level with their use of Level Path. So today we're going to talk about how to automate your workflows, gain visibility into your contracts, and also ensure compliance and the different ways that Joel and his team are able to do this. So without further ado, I am so excited to introduce Joel. Joel, prior to joining Western Union, worked in supply planning for Molson Coors and found his home in system upgrades and implementations. Joel has been at Western Union for the last 6 years, managing their sourcing and procurement systems, and has seen migrations into and out of numerous contracting systems prior to implementing Level Path. And we are so excited to have him here today to talk about how he's utilizing Level Path in order to gain insights into his contracts using AI. Now, Joel, I'm going to pass it over to you. Thank you for being here today.
Yeah, thanks, Libby. Yeah, great to be here. Thanks, everyone, for joining today. As Libby said, I manage the sourcing and procurement systems and kind of the technology stack for Western Union, for our procurement department. And happy to talk a little bit about our contracting kind of transformation journey that's still ongoing. I'm sure a lot of the problems that we face are common, are familiar. Anyone that's worked in contracting kind of knows these kind of typical pain points. First, a little background, a little context. So Western Union, if you don't know, we're a global financial services company. We're headquartered in Denver, but really our footprint is all over the place. We've got about 10,000 employees and we operate in over 200 countries. So this scale of working in different time zones, different languages, it brings a lot of complexity, especially to operating a contract management process. So a lot of different pieces and a lot of different parts that are kind of like region specific that we've had to deal with. So we have a sourcing and procurement team of about 40 people. We're split in 6 countries, managing across time zones, and we work super closely with a small but mighty designated kind of procurement legal team of a few people that manage all of our contracts. So we're responsible for source to pay, meaning everything from intake. Somebody comes to us, they need to buy something, they need a contract, they have general procurement questions, and we manage that end to end from the projects, contracts, buy desk, and bidding. On average, in Level Path, we're getting about 600 project requests every month. So on the contracting side, this leads to us creating, reviewing, executing right around 225 contracts a month on average. Obviously, a little more at the end of the year than at the beginning, but about 225 is our average. And we currently have 5,000 active contracts in the system, and ballpark spend around $1 billion in managed spend every year. Um, so one more thing kind of about our operation is we do run a centralized operations team, and that's really the backbone of our workflow. So things come into Level Path, and then we're doing the intake, triaging, routing projects, making sure that requests are getting to the right people and that things stay organized. So Libby, if we could jump to that next slide.
Yes,
Um,
perfect.
yeah.
So, Joel, I'd love to talk. I mean, that's such great background on what you're doing today at Western Union. I'd love to talk a little bit about what was happening before you implemented Level Path. What did that picture look like for all of you?
Yeah, so before we had Level Path and specifically having the contract intelligence, some of the biggest pain points we had, our headaches, was as it says, a lack of visibility, very, very manual reviews, and communication was offline and kind of siloed. So the first thing with the visibility, I would say, is searching within contracts or searching for clauses in contracts was always a pain point and a headache for us. You have your basic contract metadata that's in the system, but any searches, anything we're doing that's going to be in bulk is going to be dependent on what was manually entered when that contract was created. And anyone that's worked in a contracting system knows that manual metadata that somebody is entering when they have another full-time job is never perfect. And so if something's missing, if something's incomplete, if a clause or a term isn't tagged, essentially it's invisible. Like having bad data is the same as having no data. Basically, in anything that wasn't tagged, you're out of luck if you're going to be searching for it, unless you're physically reading agreements. The manual review was another pain point for us, is that everybody has this, whether it's during a negotiation or during redlining, especially if you're trying to use a playbook or you're using supplier paper. It was a completely and totally manual process.
Mhm.
And this I'll say is where we found probably the most value out of the contract discovery functionality, specifically. But prior to contract execution, there wasn't any kind of standard way to make sure that contracts matched the playbook. We found that different reviewers, especially in different locations, wouldn't have a standardized way to review contracts. There were things that were subject to interpretations to what's most important. Everyone kind of had their own checklist that they were working off of. And so we saw inconsistencies and worst of all, sometimes rework. Risky clauses could sometimes slip through the cracks, or maybe we're missing key addendums. Um, so rework was common. And without the visibility to be able to search and see those things, we didn't know what we didn't know about what was or wasn't done during a contract review. So again, the only way to know was to actually read the contract. And then there was a disconnect in terms of communication between the procurement process and the legal process, especially when it came to not just the contract creation but also the review and execution. Legal reviews were a lot more commonly done by email than actually in the system. This created a lack of centralization for where and how the communication even happened. And so for us, the better communication we found was the best way to improve that was driving the system adoption and getting everybody into the system. And we found that people like using AI.
Go figure,
Yeah,
right?
right.
It's kind of the hot topic right now.
Yeah, so we can jump to the next slide, but that's kind of the picture of where we were at prior to making this jump.
So what happened then after you implemented Level
Yeah.
Path? How have we been working together
Yeah.
in order to, gain more insights?
Yeah, and we've oh my goodness, we've been in Level Path what it's been about a year.
Yeah.
It's surprising that it doesn't seem like it's been that long actually. Uh, but kind of the biggest shifts and game changers for us were the four things that you see on the screen there in terms of our contracting process. So for contract discovery, um, how we're able to search across our entire repository just using natural language. We're not relying on manual tags. We're not hoping that somebody entered the right metadata. We're able to just ask general questions about our contracts, like with contract discovery, especially like um, what are my renewal terms with these vendors or with this contract? The use case for this that really saved me the most time was purchase obligations. I in my experience with contracts, I hadn't seen a system that has the right metadata to manage purchase obligations, especially if it's not tied to an ERP. It's hard to get the right field structure. So just being able to ask, what are our obligations? When are they due? What's cancelable versus not? This was an annual exercise that I was doing with all of our contracts that was literally taking me weeks. So running through this, this contract discovery was able to run through 10,000 agreements for me and spit out kind of columns of exactly the information I cared about, and it literally cut the time in half as
Wow.
opposed to me doing this with Excel filtering audits and then kind of manual reviews. Um, Want to make sure I get to these other like my favorite things that we've done here so far,
Yeah,
which
let's do it. Very good.
um so the MSA review that Livy was able to build for us, this is a task agent that was set up. So on the back end, it was able to be configured to have our playbook, our standard MSA language, and
Mhm.
then it's doing a comparison between that and any supplier MSA that we're reviewing. So it's flagging deviations from our playbook. It's giving us the right fallback clauses or suggesting language. Um, it's completely automated and it just spits out a nice, pretty table for whoever's doing the legal review to know exactly where to focus on. And this was a 60% reduction in review time for supplier MSAs. The SOW side, we wanted to use something similar, just kind of a review with our standard language, but the SOW for us has a lot more variance and a lot more complexity to it. So we found what was better instead of trying to do kind of a clause by clause comparison was here are the 10 things we care about in an SOW. Give us a checklist, give us what those things are, and then that allows the human to then do the work of looking at those things and saying, yes, this passes, yes, this doesn't, but it gives them a pretty kind of summarization of here are the things you should care about in an SOW. Now you can go do the work efficiently instead of having to read these different agreements. And then the last one we want to make sure we talk about is the AI assistant within the contracts module. This has been something that I've heard from several people where they'll be in a meeting and they'll be, discussing a contractor agreement and some sort of a question about a clause or a liability or a term will come up, and they're able to just on the fly just have a conversation with the AI assistant about the contract and immediately get answers just right on the spot. Like people have been in calls with leadership and been able to just very quickly get this information. And I would describe it as kind of having a conversation with a paralegal that knows the contract. So it's been huge for us to just kind of be able to call up those clauses or talk about a contract kind of on the fly. So those have been the use cases so far. I still feel like, Libby, that we're learning something new that we can do with this just about every week, and I'm
Yes.
excited for these next things. But so far, this has been a game changer for us.
I'm so happy to hear that. Joel, one of my favorite things about working with you is that you are as obsessed with AI as I am. So Joel and I will get on calls each week and we're like, what if we did this with the AI assistant? Or what if we built this task agent? Or how can we continue to save the team time? And as you highlighted here, these are some of my favorite use cases that we've been able to find together. And like you said, I feel like literally every single week we're building out a new one. So I'm really excited to see what the future holds as well. But Joel, I think we should show everyone a little bit of how these agents actually work. So I do have a demo prepared as well, so I will go ahead and share that on my other screen here. But really excited to hop into Level Path and actually show everyone here on the call exactly how this works in practice. So Joel, don't worry, I have anonymized all of your playbooks. I've anonymized these MSAs as well. So don't worry, there's no confidential information that's about to be shared, but the concepts stay the same. So team, what we are looking at here now, hopefully everyone can see my screen again, is level path. So I just want to level set a little bit here about where we are. So what you see here at the top is going to be our path. That is going to be all of the steps that need to happen within a project to complete a certain process. So Joel, you have a number of different project types within level path, for your buy desk or, a sourcing request, etc. They can all exist in here. And these are, again, just an example of some of those steps that might happen. But when it comes time to review those contracts, we want to be able to use the assistant to help us out with that review. So one of the first ones that we talked about here was our MSA review. So that's where we're going to start off. I want to show everyone here that I've loaded in a few contracts in order to kick off this agent. So here we can see a software MSA. This is an MSA that has come in from the vendor. So it's not on our paper. Its terms are going to differ quite greatly from the terms that we may have internally. So our assistant is going to be here to help out with that. Now, what I'm going to do is ask my assistant to run an MSA review. So what you're going to see here is that my assistant is going to take that MSA, take my playbook guidance, and actually show me side by side here exactly those differences between those contracts and whether or not we should take action on these clauses. So Joel, I know something very similar pops up for you and the team whenever you run this MSA review, and it helps them to, again, just get a very easy first pass of this contract and getting very clear guidance on what next steps to take. Anything to add here, Joel?
Yeah, I think the nicest thing here that we really liked is getting this in a table that can be exported. It makes it easier to share with other people, maybe outside the group or outside of the project. So downloading that is huge. And then I really like the visual column at the right. I'm a simple guy, so having it just tell me what to do is really nice. If I see a red X, that's bad. If I see a green check, I feel good.
I mean, who doesn't, right? We all love green checks. We all don't like red X's. Super simple there. Absolutely. So the next use case that we were going to highlight here is going to be that SOW checklist. So you mentioned here, Joel, that, you have these complex MSAs, and what you came to me with was a long checklist of all of these manual checks that the team was having to do as they moved through these SOWs. So they would go line by line, read through the contract, and find this information. And so Joel came to me and said, what if our assistant could do that for us instead? And that is what we are going to see here. So our assistant is going to be able to now run a checklist against this SOW. So as we can see here, it is now creating, again, a lovely table with those fun visualizations that we all love: red X bad, green check good, and it is calling out for us whether or not these items are in the SOW. So it's going to give us, again, that quick summary so that we don't have to do that full manual check. This is a great starting point for us to now go into that SOW and look at any of these red X's and see if those changes need to be made.
Yeah, so this is an example where I think simpler is better with the prompting. Like what we wanted to do at first was say, make sure we have a good title. And that's not necessarily a good prompt. This is where we're writing good prompts is helpful to understand, like, what is a good title. And we found with the nature of SOWs, it's better to just list it. Let it kind of give a general check of does this have what we want, but then really let the human do the work of reviewing this, but put it in a way where it's efficient for them to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. Still keeping that human in the loop to do that
Yeah.
final check, but taking some of that like grunt work, some of those tasks that they're doing over and over again out of the process so they can really focus on the strategic piece, which is actually probably going back to the vendor and negotiating
Yeah.
those different terms or, ensuring that that title is clear, et cetera. Absolutely. Now, Joel, something else that we talked about or that you said has saved the team a ton of time has been contract discovery. So, the ability to query across your entire contracts database, asking a question, for example, the use case that we had about purchase obligations. So, the way that this works, team, is that we're able to look across all of the contracts. Again, Western Union has, I think, about 10,000 contracts sitting within LevelPath. There is a lot inside of there. And being able to ask a simple question in simple English or just clear natural language to get those results. And so, Joel, again, I'm not going to pull up your data today. I'm actually going to use some anonymized data. And I also pulled forward some examples of different use cases of how we can utilize contract discovery as well. So I want to hop into those right now too. So another use case that I have seen with my customers is looking for CPI or tariff language within their contracts. So when we run contract discovery, we get an output that looks a lot like this. So it's going to call out the name of the contract, the evidence that it found that it is indeed a match. So it'll pull out the actual clause where that language was found. And then my favorite part, the very clear AI explanation of why it believes this to be a match. So you don't have to just take its word for it. It's not a simple yes, no answer, but you actually have multiple layers of evidence now that you can look at and actually know whether or not, this really truly is a match for your search. Another example that I have here as well is looking for GDPR or HIPAA language. So again, this is information that you likely haven't pulled out within your metadata. It's not something that, you're just going to like have in a field on the right-hand side of your contract. This is something that is buried within the text of your contracts. And that's what's wonderful about contract discovery. It's not just doing a keyword search. It's actually using reasoning and looking through the entire contract to pull out that information. Joel, is there anything else that you would add here when it comes to contract discovery?
Yeah, the biggest thing for me on contract discovery is that we keep finding new use cases for it. So
Yes.
so I the only thing I would add is that once you start using this, you're going to keep using it and you're going to keep thinking of new ways to use it. Like I just got a couple today that I'll end up probably sending over to you.
Perfect. I'll expect your email. Let's get this going. I'm excited. Fantastic. And Joel, the last main use case that we wanted to highlight today is one of our, I think, shared favorite features in LevelPath, which is the ability to ask the assistant any question about any of your contracts. So what we've seen here with contract discovery is looking across that entire repository. But what I want to take a look at now is looking at one specific contract. So here, what I've done is I've hopped into a contract record within LevelPath's CLM. And what you see here, of course, is the record on the left-hand side. We have our timeline here on the top for the contract. And now we also have, again, my favorite, our assistant. And so, Joel, we can ask any question that we may have to our assistant about this contract. So one of my favorite questions, and I think it's one of yours too, is simply, how do I get out of this contract? And Joel, one of my favorite parts is that you can misspell words as well, because I'm always typing with long nails and it still works. Okay, so what my assistant has done here is it's actually found for us that termination for convenience clause, and it's been able to tell me exactly what steps I need to follow in order to get out of this contract. Joel, what are some other examples of questions, not to put you on the spot, I can think of some too, questions that you like to ask the AI assistant?
So one of the things that's usually pertinent to us is, does this contract have our most recent version of GDPR? So we'll say, does it
Okay.
cover X, or is this included in the privacy language? Like those types of things are probably we're in a heavily regulated industry, so it's usually something that's regulatory that we're asking about. Mostly on our older contracts before we did a really good job of tracking those things. We've been through several iterations of different systems, so that's the one that pops to mind is do we have the right regulatory language, or do we need to update that? Do we need a new addendum?
Yeah, absolutely. So being able to take that exact clause and say, "Hey, did you find this within this contract?" And if it's not like that, what is the difference? Being able to find that really quickly. I'm sure you have some pretty long contracts sitting within Level Path
Mhm.
too, so it can take a long time to find that information. Another one that I love too, Joel, I wonder if I think you and the team are using this probably as well, is looking for SLAs within a contract. So I can say
Yep.
like, what are the SLAs? Or even more fun, you can say, "Hey, this tool that I've purchased has been down for the last 3 days. Am I owed anything in credits because of these SLAs?" So here, what we can see is that my assistant again is pulling out those commitments. It's building me a nice little, everyone loves a visual table, and telling me exactly what those SLAs are within the contract. So many different ways to utilize these features within Level Path. Now, I do want to make sure, I know we have about 3 minutes left here. I want to leave some time to answer questions here from our audience. So, of course, again, I have Joel here on the line. I have myself. Feel free to throw those questions into our chat. It looks like here we have some sent over from our moderators. So I'm going to go ahead and stop my screen share really quick, and we will address some of these questions. So, perfect. Joel, I think this one is for you. So I'm going to read it out to you.
Okay.
Can you speak to the level of trust that you and your team has in the AI findings on things like the MSA review? Have you built trust with the AI?
So first, let me say, at this point, anyone that tells you to blindly trust the AI is not doing their due diligence. You still do have to have some level of human oversight. This is not meant to replace the humans doing this. It's meant to help them with it. But I would say the people that are using it, the more they use it, the more they come to rely on it. And it's really about getting experience with it to know what it's going to be really strong in reviewing and what it's like, I know the industry. I know I need to take a closer look at this. So I would say, yes, they do get more and more trust over time, but I try to remain as cynical as I can still.
I think in the industry that you're in, Joel, that is absolutely a really good approach to take. So, absolutely, this is here to help enhance your work, enhance what you are doing already. We all get to have our jobs because we are here to be the strategic voice on top of what this artificial intelligence is able to do for us. So, I love that one. Alrighty, so, okay, I'm going to take this one. The question here is just to confirm that the contract review is going against some sort of standard clause library that was loaded into the system. So I remember when Joel first came to me and said, "Hey, Libby, I want to do, this MSA review. Here's our playbook." You handed me a hefty playbook. It was a pretty long playbook, understandably, again, in the industry that you're in. So yes, team, what we do in order to configure these task agents for you is that we take all of your standard terms. So whether it is in a playbook format or if you have a standard MSA just as a starting point, that is what the assistant is using to compare side by side those agreements. So again, it can be a standard MSA, a clause library that we can load in for you, or it can be actually just a long documented playbook. I think we took your playbook exactly as is, Joel,
Mhm.
and just handed it to the assistant. No
Yep.
edits needed. Yeah.
I think it was both our playbook and then a template of our standard language. So we took put
Mhm.
both those pieces in. Yep.
Yep, absolutely. Okay, I know we are right at time here, so I think that is going to probably be it for us today, but definitely stay tuned for future masterclasses as well. Joel, thank you so much for being on here today to talk about your experience utilizing Level Path to, gain more insights into your contracts. I am so excited about everything that we are going to get to do together in the future to continue to just innovate within the platform and keep using artificial intelligence. I'm going to share my screen one more time here. And if anyone would like to connect with us, please feel free to reach out with any questions that you may have. Would love to connect, would love to talk more about this topic. But that is going to, I believe, be it for us today. So thank you all so much. And we will see you on our next masterclass.